clearly is clearly not working for me. I can't get hold on. I can't get anything together. This nothing is working. I'm trying to there we go. I think that's a little bit better. I feel like the equipment works just as well as I do in the morning. I think my computer, my laptop, my phone, my other my computer, my laptop, my iPads, and my phone all need 2 hours to wake up, just like I need 2 hours to wake up. Not to mention that Sunday there's football, and when there's football, I'm drinking. So it's not that it's tough to get up because I'm up. I'm groggy. But my family likes it better in the morning. My family likes me to do this in the morning. They were happy last week. They got to spend a little more time with me. I'm miserable about it. But we do have some stuff that we need to talk about today. This is Spazzing Out, America's podcast, your podcast, albeit grumpy as fuck because I'm grumpy in the morning. So you get grumpy me. I'm still grumpy when I do the show in the afternoon, but it's a different kind of grump. I'm fired up type of grumpy in the afternoon. Right now, I'm just aggravated grumpy as I got a ton of spilt milk. I mean, the first thing in the fucking morning, I think I got attacked by like 10 fucking mice. It's ridiculous down here. We do the podcast 5 times a week. 5 times a week. When we do it, we're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. If you're watching on Facebook, share this. Send it. Say, hey, I'm watching America's podcast. Let people fucking know. Share that shit. Twitter, retweet, YouTube. Subscribe to my page. Most of you listen to the podcast on an app. Most of you are checking out Apple Podcasts, Google Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio now. You're telling Alexa, hey, Alexa, play Spazzing Out America's podcast. That's where everybody is really listening. Not many people join on the live feed, but that's okay. I don't mind that. I like doing the live feed while I record the podcast because I like to look at my disgusting self. Because I'm right now, if you could see what I see, I'm looking at me right there, you, and then behind me, I see me. So there, I just like looking at myself while I record the podcast. I think it helps me talk. I don't really know, but subscribe. I need you to subscribe to one of the podcast locations. Go to anthonypaziali.com or anthonypaz.com, and there's a bunch of links to where you can get the podcast, the website. Obviously, looks like my daughter did it. Looks like crap because we don't have any money yet. With a little bit of money trickling in, but not enough to do a real upgrade, not enough to get to a place where we can have a studio. And currently, I'm looking to get a job to get back into radio. I got to start from the bottom up. I got to go from the bottom up. Yeah, I'll tell you what the topic's on in a sec. I got to go from the bottom up to get back on the radio, and I will be doing that. I'd like to have my own conservative talk radio show at some point, and it's going to take a while to get back. I was on a morning show for 16 years in Boston. Then I left. I started Take Junk, which is my junk removal company, and also working in real estate investment with home investors. Now I want to do radio again and continue to do my podcast 5 days a week, kind of tie them together, but it'll be a slow and long grind. Not much to really cover today because I just didn't get up early enough, but there are some things that I want to talk about. Viral Thanksgiving. I need to talk about blown-in insulation. Vietnam, I have to talk about the story about a crazy, loony, liberal lady from Massachusetts that assaulted a Vietnam veteran. I can't understand what is with the rage moms and the women. The women are about as aggressive as the mice in my house when it comes to politics. That liberal women are going bonkers. They're taking your wife gets pissed at your house and everybody's like, yeah, man, they can't imagine that your wife is an aggressive person. Well, you start talking politics with a woman that has a liberal agenda and you start talking Trump with them, they will fucking hit you. They're crazy. We have to talk about that. Boston is 13th when it comes to rats. So Boston is the 13th most rat-infested city, and Revere has got to be the most mice-infested city on the planet. I have spilt milk, and I'm going to get to that in just a quick second. And then I want to talk about New Hampshire is going to take a lawsuit out against Massachusetts about taxes, and I'm in favor of it. But first, Please. I have spilt milk. What is spilt milk? Spilt milk is when I talk about something on this program that happens to me or to you that takes away from everything else that's going on. For example, I think it's a big story that a woman in Douglas assaulted a Vietnam vet over politics. I think that's a big story, but it doesn't right now. It's not important to me because I have spilt milk, because I have mice in my house, because I have to deal with blown in insulation, and because kids and people think fucking crosswalks will protect them from getting hit by a car. The point of it is this. Let's say a bomb went off and killed 100,000 people, right? But your daughter came into the bedroom and dropped a crap on the floor. You'd be like, well, I mean, I know that 100,000 people just died, but I'm dealing with picking up my daughter's shit. So right now, I don't really care about that because I got to pick up the crap that just hit the floor. That is what spilt milk is. That is what I'm talking about. That is spilt milk. So here I want to bitch a little about spilt milk. Then I'm going to get to the Vietnam vet. Then I will get to New Hampshire taxes. And if we can, we'll get to cow cuddling. And we'll get to, we're going to get to Boston rats because we're going to talk about my spilt milk. I have some problems and I need help. I'm telling you, my house is infested by super mice. They're not regular mice. They're super mice. They're not super in terms of size. They're super in terms of intelligence. I should call them mega mind mice. That's what I have. I have mega mind mice in my house that are outsmarting me. They're out, and I guess that's not really that tough, but they're outsmarting the humans. I have every trap known to man in my house. I have the sticky traps. I have the green poison traps. I have the old school, trap that snaps. I have the traps that come in the boxes. I have, what do we just start to? I have the sound things that are supposed to scare the rodents away. You know, you can't hear it, and obviously it doesn't work on the dogs because I have 2 dogs. All this shit, and the mice are they're everywhere, and they have fucking balls. Just this morning, I came downstairs to go do. Just this morning, I came downstairs to go do the podcast, and they're like pigeons now. I walk downstairs into the basement. I turn on the light, and there's like 3 of them. They're congregating, and they don't even fucking move. Like they did nothing. They just looked at me. They were like, "What's up? What's going on?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm gonna fucking step on you." That's what's going on. So they didn't move until I went over to them and tried stepping on them. Because I'll tell you, man, I'll squish them out all day long. I don't know what to do or how to get rid of them. And I'm telling you, if you see 3 and they're hanging out in your basement laughing at you, there's more. There's probably 100 of them. There's probably fucking 200 of them. And the worst part about it, here's the worst part. Now we've raised all the food up to a level where we think that they can't get it. So far, I've been very successful with putting the food up or putting it in Tupperware so that they can't get to it. But I made the mistake because I get very frustrated when people overspend money in my house. Now, I'm a white bread type of guy, and I like the white bread from Demoulas. That's just how it is. I like red cap milk, and I like white fucking bread, period, and American cheese. Now, my lovely lady, she bought a bag of sourdough bread, and not like regular sourdough bread, like really expensive sourdough bread. I believe it was $9.99, and I wanted to lose my fucking mind. But whatever, I didn't say anything to her about it. But anytime she buys something like that, nice, some sourdough bread that's ridiculously expensive, I'll eat it. I'll say, you know what? That's my money. That's my time. $10 is about a half hour of my life that I gave up so you guys could have sourdough bread. So I'm going to eat the whole fucking loaf just to prove a point that was my loot, my back, my knees, my hands, dealing with blown in insulation. I'm eating it. So I take, I eat like 2 slices or something like that, and I forgot, and I left it on the counter, and then I went to bed. And what did I wake up? What did I wake up? Dude, I'd love to go to bed. What did I wake up to? What did I wake up to? These super mega mind mice burrowed a hole through the loaf of bread. Now, I'm not talking like he opened up a little bit and took a nibble. I'm talking they went from one side of the bread to the other side of the bread, and they did it in about 4 hours. In about 4 fucking hours. That's how I know there's more than 1. That's how I know there's more than 3. There's hundreds, and I can't get rid of them, and I don't know how to get rid of them. I've been looking for holes in my damn house. I have all the fucking traps. They're smart. They're frigging smart. They're not eating the bait. They're smart, invasive, mega mind mice, and I don't know how to get rid of them, and I'm getting sick of them. And the worst part about it is my wife, we caught one the other day. This drives me bonkers. We caught one the other day on one of the stickum traps, and my wife calls me. She caught one of these fucking mice on a stickum trap. She calls me, says, "Hey, we caught a mice. He's still alive." She watches a YouTube video on how to dilute the sticky shit so that she could let the thing go. And I'm like, and I'm calling her. I'm on the phone with her. I'm like, "What are you talking about? You don't let him go. If you let him go, he's coming back in." "Well, I don't want to kill him." And I'm like, "Yep, okay. So you don't care about the fact that he's killing me, eating the food that we put in the house. So I buy food. So that means I give up some of my life. Like I said, it's say you spend $10 in groceries and then the rat or the mouse eats $10 in groceries. I gave up a half hour of my life so that this fucking little shit, this mega mind mice can eat my food." So of course, what does she do? She lets the fucking thing go. And then I have to proceed to tell her a story that I learned at a young age from the late great Stan Paziali about mice and about bats. My dad, in this instance, well, listen, my dad stomped out a mouse, no problem. In this instant, my mom, my dad, there was a bat in the attic, and my dad caught the bat. He caught it with like a turtle net. We used to go turtle hunting at Hon Pond when we were kids, so we had these nets. When kids used to go outside, we actually went into Hon Pond, like up to our necks, and we would catch turtles because we didn't fucking stay at home and just do stupid shit all day. So, anyways, there's a bat in the attic, and my father catches the bat, and my mom. Now this is when my parents were still together, so I was younger. I was under 10 on Highland Street moving. So my dad catches the bat, has the thing tangled up in the net, and my mom's freaking out. She's like, "Yo, Stan, you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go." And my father, very quiet man, doesn't say anything to her. It's like, I could see the look on his face. He's like, "Yeah, lady, shut up." So my dad goes outside, and I'm out there with him, and he's teaching me a lesson of life. He just looks at me. Now, I don't even have the balls to do this, but my father took the bat and he grabbed his hand around it so its wings couldn't fly. And then let these little heads like in my dad's hand bobbing its head around, pop, 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 pop. And my father just looks at me and goes, "If we let this go, it will come back and invade the home." And then he snapped its neck with his bare fucking hands, dude. He didn't I would have put gloves on, or I would have maybe dropped it and stepped on my foot. He held the bat in his hand and he looked at me and he just said, "If we let this go, it will come back and invade our house." Boom, put his hand over its head, snapped the fucking neck, threw the thing in the barrel. Right there, I got it. I'm like, all right, I get it. My dad didn't want to kill the bat. He would have liked to let it go, but he understood that if he doesn't kill the bat, he's going to have to deal with this shit again. He's going to have to go up and catch it again. He's going to have to deal with it burrowing holes and ruining his property and eating its food. That's the same with the mouse. Now, my father, I seen him stomp out plenty of mice. You'd catch one. If it didn't die, the guy would step on it. He would fucking throw the thing away. Plain and simple. Peter can come and protest my house all day long. I don't want any mice. But you know what? Here's what I say to the PETA people and anybody that cares about mice and about bats. I'll catch them and I'll bring them to your house. How about that? That's what I'll do. I feel the same way about the people who care about looters and rioters. You like looters and rioters. You like mice, rats, and bats. I'll bring them to your house, to your neighborhood, and they can live with you. And then we'll see how long you like looters, rioters, and we'll see how you feel about rats, mice, and fucking bats when they come to your community. You won't like them. You'll get rid of them. I ain't having it. So plain and simple, I call my wife and I'm like, next time you get a mouse, next time you catch a mouse on the damn thing, wait till I get home and I have no problem stepping on it. I will squash that little shit. It's just like life. Rats and mice are like fucking illegal immigrants that break through the wall, come into your home, eat the food, eat your shit. Honestly, you know what? It is like that. Rats and mice are just like illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants sneak into our country. They eat our food. They steal our jobs. And then mice sneak into our country, the country being our home. They eat our food. They ruin our homes. They fuck up shit. And then you get in trouble when you try to kick them out. When you kick them out and you don't lock them up, they fucking come back. So mice, when you catch one, stomp the fucking thing out, grow a set of balls. And if you can't, my neighbors, my lovely neighbors who I love. They're awesome. My mom's next door, who by the way bought me a nice bottle of um, Cape Cod rum. It's super spicy. It's great. It's from Toro. It's phenomenal, dude. It was awesome. So they caught some mice. I believe that I've infested their house because my house has mice. Their house now has it, and they caught two of them on a stick and pad, and they did the right thing. Now they didn't have it in them to get rid of the mice and to kill the mice, so they called me, and I went over and I took care of it. I don't have a problem with stomping out invaders. I just can't understand how the mice in my house are so smart. I don't understand how the mice in my house have evaded the traps, and I need help. So here's what I need. And I'm not paying for an exterminator, bro. I don't have the money. I'm not like some rich guy that could pay some exterminator to come over to my house and fucking, I don't have 500-600 bucks for you to come over. I'd rather just live with the fucking mice until I'll figure it out. But I need a better way. I need a better way to get rid of them. So if you have an idea as to how to get rid of them out of my house, I'm trying everything. Yes, I know you have to get rid of their food source, which we're working on now. Like I said, we're putting things in Tupperware and try to put shit out of reach, and we're decluttering the house and clearing out the place as best we can. But I'm telling you, man, they're fucking with me. They've become like pigeons where they're not scared. They're literally, I'm telling you, this morning I came downstairs. For those of you that don't know, I do the podcast in my basement because I can't afford to do it anywhere else. So I come downstairs and there's three of them and they're hanging out and they look at me. They just kind of turn their head like the pigeon would and they look at me and they're like, "What's up, guy?" And they don't move. And I'm like, these motherfuckers. And if there's three, there's hundreds. You don't just, there's never just three. So I know there's a shit ton of them living in my house and they're laughing at me. I come downstairs and they're congregating and they're talking about how they're going to go upstairs and eat my fucking food. I know it. It's driving me nuts. All right. It's mice. Let's get that out of the way. Next thing that I have to talk about is I just want to say that people that do blown in insulation, I have to get this off my chest and we'll let it go. I have fucking traps all over my house. People that do blown in insulation are assholes. You're a dickhead. And I'm talking to you, the guys that work for blown in insulation companies, and I know you sit back and laugh your ass off when you dust someone's fucking attic with 5 feet of blown in insulation. It's unnecessary. It drives me bonkers. There is no need, first off, to have blown in insulation over regular insulation. There's already pink roll, whatever you want to call it, insulation in the damn attic. And then you guys go up there and you're like, "Oh yeah, you need some fucking insulation." And then you dust the attic with 5 feet of insulation. Why am I pissed? Because my business, we do house demos, right? We do house cuts. Working on a house cut in Winchester, Massachusetts, and it's like the third house in a row where I've had to deal with an attic that has had a ridiculous amount of blown in insulation. There is no need for that. And I know you guys do it because you're like, "Fuck it, we got it. Let's just empty the truck." Stop it. Start thinking about the guys that are eventually going to have to take that ceiling down. Bro, it's like a snow globe of insulation. It gets all up in my pores, all up in my nose and my ear, my butt crack, all over my shoes. I'm sick of it. So stop it. I'm begging the insulation terrorists to stop blowing 5 feet of damn insulation, unnecessary insulation, into people's homes. Have a little respect. It's like the guys who fucking nail 10,000 nails into a piece of plywood on the floor when someday they know some guy's got to rip it up and it won't come up because you put 52,000 fucking nails in the floor. For the love of God, if you work for a blown in insulation company, don't be an asshole and blow 5 feet of insulation into someone's fucking attic. God, pisses me off. All right. Yeah, I got that off my chest. Next thing is spilt milk is crosswalks. At what point in this country do people think that crosswalks will protect them from getting hit by a car? I can't for the life of me understand why people think they can just walk right into the middle of traffic, right on a busy street, and they think that, some kind of a wall is, you got the two yellow white lines, and they think that that's a real wall. They think the white lines will stop a car a truck from fucking squishing them. The other day I was driving. This is over the weekend. I was driving my I have dump trucks. So the dump truck weighs 10,000 pounds, and it had it had construction debris on the back, another 3,000 pounds. So I'm cruising down the street. I'm cruising Main Street in Woburn. I got 13,000 pounds on a truck. And let me tell you something, that's not the biggest of trucks. There are trucks that weigh over 26,000 pounds. There are trucks that weigh 50,000 pounds coming down that fucking road, and they can't stop on a dime. And when you're hauling a truck, when your truck weighs 13,000 pounds, it doesn't stop on a dime. Literally. You need that. I don't know I forget. I remember when I took the test, but there's X amount of a distance that it takes for it to stop. Right? So I'm driving, and I can see this kid and his buddies. They're on the sidewalk on their bikes, and this dipshit whips his bike, like literally. He doesn't stop, doesn't hesitate, just right into the crosswalk. Luckily, I'm in Woburn Center. Luckily, I'm going about 10 miles an hour as I'm kind of turning towards the Dunkin' Donuts area to head down Route 38. And luckily, the truck stopped because I hit the brake as hard as I could, and the truck still went 3 to 4 feet. And I'm telling you, it was about literally 2 or 3 inches away from hitting the kid. And the kid's like, and what's worse is the fucking kid stopped. So he flies out into the crosswalk, realizes that he could get hit, and instead of fucking flying and trying to get out of the way, he freezes like a deer in headlights. And I'm just like looking at him, and the truck's going, and then I look out the window at him. I didn't get mad. I'm not like the old school grandpa that gets pissed. What the fuck are you doing? I just said to the kid, I go, hey, you okay? The kid couldn't say a word, man. He was like, hey, you all right? I think he pissed his pants. I'm like, hey, are you okay? I'm yelling out there. I'm like, hey, are you all right, buddy? I'm like, all right, get out of the crosswalk. He takes his bike out of the crosswalk, and now his other buddies are in front of the fucking truck. And I'm like, dude, buddy, are you okay? And I'm like, where are your parents? And the kid's like, I'm like, the greatest part about it, while I'm trying to talk to the kid, this was pretty funny. I'm trying to talk to the kid. Up comes a station wagon. I haven't seen a fucking station wagon in years. A station wagon from the other side of the road rolls up, and a guy that probably had a mustache, guy's probably like 70, 75 years old, rolls up, and he was smoking a butt, which was even better. Rolls up, he's got his windows down, hat on, rolls up, and I thought he was going to yell at me. I'm like, fuck, great, this dude's going to yell at me. He yells out the window, he's like, that fucking kid wanted to get hit. Get out of the road, you little shit. Oh, I was dying. And he had the butt in one hand, so he points out the window with the cig, and like it has this scowl on his face, but as he was offended that the kid went into the road. It was because I thought he was going to bitch at me. And he's just, yeah, you get out of the road, you little shit. Fantastic. But the honest truth is, I talked to my son about it when I got home. I tried to explain to him. I said, Nariam, listen, no joke. Because my son rides his bike all around the neighborhood here. And we have where I live up on Revere Beach. So one street behind where we live, or 2 streets behind where we live. So you get the Beach Street, and then you have Route 1A, and that's a busy-ass street. 1A, the cars are flying. They're going 50 miles an hour. Some might be going 60 if the lights are all green. And there's crosswalks, and I try to tell him, I say, buddy, the crosswalk does not protect you. You will get hit. I don't know why kids or people think that they can just walk out into the crosswalk. I don't even know if it's a law. I know some places you see state law stop for pedestrians. Doesn't mean that the car's going to stop. Let's just put it like that. You can't just walk into a crosswalk and expect to not get hit. You're going to get fucking hit. If I was on my phone, which thank God when I drive the big truck, as I call it, it's not that big of a truck, but thank God when I'm driving my dump truck, I'm not on my phone like that. If I wasn't paying attention, the kid would have been dead. I'm telling you, there's no these things. I've hit cars. Well, not me, but I've had other guys hit. You know what? I backed into something a while back, right? Like a dumpster or whatever with this truck, and I ripped off a metal thing that like it's not easily to rip off. Bro, it would mangle a kid. Absolutely mangle. The kid would have been dead, stuck under the fucking truck, and the bike would have been all up in his ass. Plain and simple. I don't understand why kids and parents and everybody thinks that it is okay to just walk out into the crosswalk. I don't understand that. I tried to explain to my son this weekend. I said, buddy, please do me a favor. Never, ever, ever just walk out into the crosswalk. Always make sure that it is safe to go. The crosswalk does not protect you from getting steamrolled by a car. It never will. I feel the same way about stop signs, and I feel the same way about red lights. Everybody always gives me a hard time as to why I cautionally go through a stop sign, because the stop sign will not stop the other car. The idea of it does that most people will stop, but on the one-off, there'll be someone that's not paying attention. They will blow the stop sign and they will drive right into your car. Same thing with red lights. Not everybody's stopping at the red light because some people aren't paying attention. Please understand that stop signs, red lights, crosswalks, yellow lines where people aren't supposed to cross over, the white line where you ain't supposed to go over, people always will pass you on the right. Be aware of your surroundings. I don't know where the false sense of security comes from. Someone's going to die. I'm almost hit and crushed a kid that was my son's age because he darted right out into the crosswalk like no big deal. I watched him. I watched this kid and his buddies on their bike. They were coming down, and he just swing right out in front of my fucking truck and almost got smushed. Lucky that I was going slow. Lucky, but literally a second less, the kid was under the truck. Please. All right. What else do we I gotta check the time, man. I gotta go to work. I got stuff that I do want to get to though. All right, listen. All right, New Hampshire. Let's just do this. New Hampshire. I think this is a just case. So there are people that are remotely working now. So for the past 8 months, a lot of us have been working from home. I can't work from home. I have a job where I actually have to be there. So unfortunately, I can't work from home. But there are tons of people that do work from home. And there are a lot of people that live in New Hampshire that come to Massachusetts to work. Tons and tons of people living in southern New Hampshire, working in Massachusetts. For whatever reason, they like to live up there. Maybe they think that it's great because they want to pay $12,000 in property tax. Sometimes I think people in New Hampshire get a little confused about the fact that they don't have an income tax up there, that they won't pay taxes. And then they move to New Hampshire and they realize, wait a second. If I lived in Lowell, my property tax would be like $4,000 or $5,000. But because I live in New Hampshire, it's $12,000 a year. So you end up getting taxed to death no matter what. But in this instance, I agree with the New Hampshire governor, and I agree with New Hampshire, and I don't think Massachusetts should be doing this to them. So all these employees that work for a Massachusetts company that are now not working in Massachusetts, they are working in New Hampshire where they live, are being taxed at the Massachusetts tax rate. They're getting that income tax on the mass income tax, because when you live in New Hampshire but you work at an office or a place in Mass, you pay Mass taxes. It's quite like, let's say the NBA. When you come and play a game here, LeBron comes in from LA and he plays basketball at the Garden. Well, he's got to pay taxes on that salary that he made while playing in Massachusetts. But if he's playing in New Hampshire, he doesn't have to pay Massachusetts taxes because he's not playing in Massachusetts. So there are a bunch of people, and the governor agrees with this, that there are hundreds of thousands of people that used to commute to Massachusetts to work, and for the past 8 months, they have been home working in New Hampshire, but still getting taxed by Mass. So that New Hampshire is going to take out a lawsuit against Massachusetts to try to get the money back from these people, or at least stop it. Back in March, Mass said, yep, we're going to pass a little bill that if you worked in Mass but are now remote working in New Hampshire, you're still going to get taxed. They re-upped that this past week. It said, we're going to continue this because they don't want to lose the revenue. It's a lot of revenue to lose. Bottom line is, Mass doesn't want to lose the revenue. It's a garbage move. They don't work in Mass. They work from home for a Massachusetts company. They shouldn't have to pay the taxes. They're working in New Hampshire. I feel like that's simple. I feel like Massachusetts is overstepping their bounds by taxing people who are working at their home. They're working in New Hampshire, not here in Massachusetts. It's kind of like when you buy a car in New Hampshire and then you bring it back to Mass and Mass collects their money. Probably nothing you can do about it. I just wanted to put it out there that I think it's garbage. You're going to end up paying your taxes, and that's just how it is. It sucks. You can fight, you can bitch, you can moan. I can sit here and I can bitch and moan about it until the cows come home, until you guys need to start cow cuddling, which is something people are doing. I'll tell you what that is in a second. I'm with New Hampshire on it. New Hampshire's governor is taking a lawsuit out to protect the people that live in New Hampshire. Why? Because he feels, this is what he said, he believes it's a New Hampshire advantage. He believes people move to New Hampshire not to get taxed, not to get a income tax. So he's going to fight for those people, and I think that's the right thing to do. I really do. I think it's a great idea for him, and it's a smart move on New Hampshire's part to protect their citizens, because they just fucking move to Mass and they'll pay less taxes. So why move to New Hampshire, pay $12,000 a year for property tax to live in Derry or to live in Stowe, when you could just move to Mass and you'll save yourself like $6,000, right? Because if you're paying the income tax no matter what, you might as well move back to Mass. Some of these people move up there so that they don't have to, you get to go to the stores. You don't have that 5-6% sales tax on certain things up in New Hampshire, and then you don't have an income tax up in New Hampshire. But if you work in Mass, you pay the income tax. You come over the border, you pay it. I think it's a garbage move by Massachusetts to do that. I agree. They're picking the pockets of these New Hampshire people who moved up to New Hampshire for a reason, and now they're working remotely from New Hampshire. It's not Massachusetts money, and it's millions of dollars. It's a lot. It's big dollars. Big, 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 big. All right, last thing, and then I got to go. I got to go to work. Oh, man. Real quick. We don't talk much football on the show. I can't let the Patriots off the hook with their performance yesterday. I cannot. And I would have if the Titans didn't beat Buffalo the other day with no practice. So the Titans, but this is what people will say. Here, Belichick, after the game, we all know that the Patriots defense played well. Patriots offense looked like crap. They couldn't even put enough. I mean, they got field goals. They lost by field goals, bro. They got field goaled to death yesterday, and everybody's saying it's because of practice. Bill Belichick comes out and says, man, it'd be great if we could practice, blah, 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 blah. That's no excuse. You're professionals. You should always be ready. You should be getting ready for yourself. That's like me saying, well, I haven't been to work in 2 weeks, and now I don't know how to demo a wall. I haven't been to work in 2 weeks, and I don't know how to load a truck. I haven't done the podcast in weeks, and I can't do my fucking podcast. Bullshit. I don't want to hear it. You're a professional. You get out there, you play, and you play to win, and you have to execute better. Practice is important. Yes. Don't get me wrong. If you were someone who was running a marathon and you didn't run for 2 weeks before the marathon, yeah, sure as shit, you'll be rusty and you won't do well. I get it. But I don't buy those kind of excuses, especially when the Titans went out with little next to no practice, and they went out and they absolutely crushed Buffalo the other day. And then on a short schedule, they come back and they win an overtime game. So I don't want to hear this bullshit about practice. That's all I get to say on the Pats. Just people are going to be giving them excuses about not practicing. No, you don't get that here. You don't, not against fucking Denver. That I could have been like, all right, KC, sure. Seattle, sure. Against Denver, you should have won that game. That's garbage that you didn't. That's a game that was perfect for you to win on the 2 weeks where you had a lot of problems and you guys blew it. Garbage. Absolute garbage. All right. Last thing. A Vietnam vet is attacked in Douglas. First off, let me just say, under no circumstances can I really see a scenario where you should be attacking an elderly person. This guy is 74 years old. So let's just take the fact that he was a veteran out of it. First off, I can't really see any situation where a 74-year-old should be able to overpower someone in their 30s, be it a woman or a man. I don't care. I can't see how a frail old 70-year-old guy can overpower you or be threatening. If anything, it would be laughable. To see a 74-year-old guy doing whatever they would be doing, it'd be comical to me. I would laugh because the fucking wind would just blow the guy. I would just wait and say, hey, bud, keep talking, because eventually a big gust of wind is going to come and knock you on your frail ass, and then I'd move on. So I can't see anybody attacking an elderly person. Honestly, it's like elderly people are like kids. It's just as offensive. Like people that attack and hit kids are just as big as scumbags that attack people that are 70 plus. I feel like if you're 65 to 70, you might still have that strength. Maybe you worked your whole life and you still got that grip. And there are some 70-year-olds, I shake their hand and I'm like, damn, this guy's got a fucking grip. He's got a strong ass grip. But I would stare at some kids that have strong grips too, but I don't beat them and I don't attack elderly people. You just don't. So there's no circumstance. Now let's add the fact that he is a veteran. Let's add the fact that depending on how you look at it, he either joined the military willingly, and if he did, I salute and I honor him for putting his life on the line for this country. Forget about what the war was about and whether it was a just war or not. Fact is, he fought for our country. Now, let's just say it's on the other side of the story. He didn't want to fucking go, right? But he still went. He still fought in the war. He got drafted, whether it be just or unjust, not the point. He fought for the country. Deserves a little bit of respect. Doesn't give, listen, I've never ever said it gives someone, just because you join the military doesn't give you right to be an asshole. That will never come out of my mouth. But I feel like if you joined and you serve this country, you deserve a little bit of respect. A fucking lot of respect, actually, in my opinion. You deserve some kind of respect for joining the military, and then a level of respect or let goedness, I don't know the word, for being 70 plus. So you look at this guy and say, all right, the guy's a vet. Let me give him a break. The guy's 74 years old. Let me give him a fucking break. But of course, politics lately in this country are very divisive, and they're getting people enraged, almost so that, like, as if they were jealous. Have you ever messed or have you ever been around a jealous person? Jealous people have rage like you've never seen. You could, if you could get a jealous, if you have ever seen a jealous woman, she'll hit you with a golf club. She'll hit you with a bat. She'll throw the microwave at you. Anything in the fridge. She'll smash your iPhone, break your computer, go bonkers. Have you ever seen a jealous man? A jealous man will jump through a fucking window, break through a brick wall, tear things apart. Forget it. A jealous guy is, I don't want to be anywhere near. I'd like to know if I was going to get into a fight, before I got into a fight, I'd be like, hey, bro, you got any beef with your wife at home? The guy be like, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, dude, is your wife cheating on you or something? Because if she is, I'm not fucking with you. Because jealous dudes, forget it. They have Hulk strength. They literally, it's like retard strength. Yeah, that's right. I said retard strength. Remember when we were younger and there was a kid that was strong? You'd be like, oh, that kid has retard strength. Well, you get retard strength when you're jealous. So I'm not messing with jealous people. I don't want to be anywhere near people that are jealous because they have strength beyond strength, dude. They're like Superman. So when you're talking politics lately, people get that pissed. I never get, like, when I do the podcast, sure, I'm fired up. I mean, the podcast is called Spaz'ing Out. It's America's podcast. I get fired up in this little instance where I'm yelling and I'm screaming because I'm passionate. But I'm not a violent person. I'm not going to attack you. I'm not going to come after you. If anything, I'll go cuddle a cow because that's what we're doing in these times. People are going to cows for compassion and to cows to listen, and they're giving them big hugs, and it's making them feel better so that they can hug a cow instead of so they can get some kind of interaction. But I'm not aggressive with my politics or even my jealousy to attack someone. I'm not like that. It is clear that I'm a conservative. And I have a lot of my conservative beliefs. I believe strongly in them. But when I talk to people that have liberal agendas or that have liberal beliefs, I don't attack them. I honestly can sit back and I let them get their opinions out. And I can see why they might believe some of this stuff. And then I will talk to them and try to give them my point of view if they're open to listening to it. But if they're not, I move on. If they don't, if you can tell they're going to turn into a rage mom, I don't. I let it go. I say, you know what? There's no point in talking to someone that won't listen to, if you will listen to their ideas, but they won't listen to your ideas, there's no point. Trust me when I tell you, perception is reality. and you're wasting your time arguing with people that don't believe what you believe. This has nothing to do with right or wrongs. So this has nothing to do whether Biden or Trump should be president. This just has all to do with the way people think. If someone thinks the sky is red, you're wasting your time, your time trying to convince them that it's not. Simple. Their perception is that the sky is red. It's fucking red, bro. Move on. Let it go. Don't get all fired up. Don't get all raged. So here's to get to the point with the Vietnam vet. He is a Trump supporter. He is having a little Trump rally, has his Trump flag, and this woman is an enraged woman that can't stand Donald Trump, and maybe she has good points as to why. Just forget it. Forget that he is Trump. Forget that she is for Biden. The point is, whatever the issue was over politics, she attacked the man. She pushed him down to the ground, broke his fucking finger, ripped his flag, not his American flag, ripped up his Trump flag, and all over her irateness over politics. We need to be passionate in our politics. We need to be passionate in our beliefs, but we don't need to attack people, especially 70-year-old frail people. I honestly gets me fired up because I would love to see what this rage mom would do with me. Let's say I was out somewhere. Let's just say I'm out, and I've been accosted just by the way I look. I don't wear MAGA hats. I don't have a Trump t-shirt on. Just because I have a beard and I'm bald and I'm white, everybody just assumes that I am either Trump or that I'm a neo-Nazi or I'm a supremacist just because of how I look. So I have people say shit to me all the time, but I don't care. I just let them talk. I'm not someone I just laugh. I'm like, okay, big deal. But you don't see the crazy people attacking people like me. So if I were out and I had my MAGA hat on and my Trump hat on, you don't see rage moms coming after me. You don't see rage moms attacking and trying to push me to the ground. No, they go after the weakest link. They go after a poor, frail Vietnam vet, 74 years old, and they push the guy to the ground. I get it. Right? I'm sorry, I don't get it. What I'm saying is I just don't get it. I don't understand how, one, you could get so upset over politics that you would physically hit someone, and then I can't even understand how you would ever lay your hand on an elderly person. It makes no fucking sense to me. If you do not like someone's politics, right? First off, if you don't like someone's politics, how about trying to have a reasonable debate with them? How about saying, okay, this is why I like this guy, and come up, and I like demand this from people. I can't stand it. So if you like somebody, I don't care who it is. Let's say you're a Charlie Baker guy. Great. Why do you like Charlie Baker? And you might say, oh, I think he's done a great job with the coronavirus, which, we all thought he was doing an okay job, but now we have 700 more people in the past few days that have the virus. So God knows, nobody knows shit about you. We don't know shit about fuck when it comes to coronavirus. But you might have 3 reasons why you like Charlie. Well, then I want 3 reasons for each reason. So you might say, Charlie's done great with the coronavirus. I say, oh, why? And I want 3 reasons why. So it's the same thing with Joe. I like Joe Biden. Great. Why? I want 3 reasons why you like Joe, and then I want 3 reasons to back the 3 reasons. And I can give you the same on Trump, why I might back Trump, or why I've always been a Mitt Romney fan. Now, I know people don't like Mitt Romney, but I like guys that have integrity like that. I like guys that would, on one side say, hey, I feel like the president did something wrong. I didn't agree with him impeaching Trump and voting for him, but I like that he put his nuts on the line. And then I also like that he was the first senator to meet with Amy Coney Barrett, because he believed that it was a constitutional duty to nominate someone and to confirm somebody. I like that shit, and I'm not afraid to say it. So I would give you reasons why I like someone. I would say, hey, I like this guy because he has integrity. Here are 3 examples of integrity that I liked about him. I like this guy because he's strong on the economy. Here are 3 reasons why he's great on the economy. Then that's a fucking debate. You would decimate them with your intellect instead of hitting someone. And if you can't, and if you're just talking to a straight up mutant, if the guy is a straight up fucking mutant, then move on. Do not, under no circumstances, ever, and I'm talking directly to the rage mom, to the lady in Douglas, never, ever should you ever put your hands on an elderly person like that. ever. Unless they have a gun in your face, there is no reason to attack, push, shove, or anything to an elderly person 70 plus. None. Second of all, never, ever, ever disrespect somebody. I mean, unless it's very well deserved, you should never be disrespecting someone that put their life on the line for this country. They fought for your very freedom to be at a protest. They fought for your very freedom for you to be able to verbally yell at them about your beliefs or have a verbal debate with them. They did not fight for your country for you to go up to them and push them to the ground when they're at their weakest state in their life. Had that been 30 years ago and this guy was in his prime peak physique and prime peak mental capacity, you would have walked right by him because you would have been scared to shit to fuck with them. All right, that's it. I'm out. I gotta go. Guys, please remember, crosswalks do not protect you from getting hit. And there is no reason when you are enraged in a political debate with somebody, but no matter what side you are on, to get violent. We are all Americans. Every single one of us, we are all entitled to our political thoughts. Even us on the right side have a right, like that right on the right, have a right to give our political opinions without being attacked by a loony rage mom type person. But also, we should give the respect to the people that we think are crazy. The lefts think we're nuts. The rights think they're nuts. Everybody gets an opportunity to give their opinion and leave the violence out of it. Leave the frustration out of it. Let people say what they want to say. That's what's great about this country. That's why we're all Americans. Remember that. We are all Americans first. Thank you for listening to Spazzing Out, America's podcast. I have to go to work. All right, guys, I'm out. Late.